The Song of Solomon is hands down one of the most beautiful and, let's be honest, complex love poems ever written. Today, we're diving into its dramatic second half. This is where passion gets put to the test and love really has to prove itself.
So glad you could join us for this explainer.
We're jumping into the story in chapters 5 through 8. Now this is right after the wedding, and believe me, this is where the story takes a really dramatic turn.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to witness the couple's first major crisis and then their beautiful reconciliation. From there, we'll watch their love mature, we'll decode some really powerful symbols of purity, and then, and this is the big one, we'll connect it all to a much bigger, ultimate love story.
All right, so the honeymoon is officially over. The parties have ended, the guests have gone home, and now we get to see what this marriage actually looks like in the real world. You know, with all its messy, complicated, and challenging parts.
And wow, almost immediately, a crisis hits. And what's wild is that it feels so modern. It all starts with a simple misunderstanding, born from just a moment of hesitation.
Okay, so picture this. The groom comes to her door late one night, but the bride, well, she's already gotten ready for bed and she hesitates. It's just a small delay, really, but it's enough. By the time she finally opens the door, he's gone. And that one simple moment, it ignites the first real crisis in their marriage. She is just gripped by this sudden, terrifying fear of separation.
So in her frantic search for him, the bride describes this really violent encounter. But we have to ask, did this literally happen? Well, probably not. I mean, think about it. Would King Solomon's own city guards actually attack his new bride and face no consequences? It's much more likely that this is a nightmare. A really powerful symbol of her own inner turmoil and just how desperate she is, afraid she's lost him for good. But here's the beautiful part. This crisis, this nightmare, it actually leads to a profound reconciliation. And how do they manage to repair their love? Well, they do it through this incredible exchange of praise, reminding each other exactly what they cherish so much.
First, it's the bride's turn. She's asked, "What makes your beloved so special anyway?" And she just unleashes this passionate, incredibly detailed description of his physical strength and beauty. Her words paint this picture of a man who is absolutely magnificent in her eyes, and in doing so, she restores her own sense of devotion.
And what about the groom? How does he respond? Is he angry? Not at all. Instead, he answers her with this overwhelming praise. I mean, remember, Solomon had many women in his court, but he makes it absolutely clear that to him, she is utterly unique. She is his perfect one, totally unlike anyone else. Now, to really get this, we need a little cultural context. In the ancient Hebrew mindset, this conversation isn't just about looks. External beauty was seen as a direct reflection of a person's inner character. So when they're praising each other's bodies like this, they're actually celebrating the beauty of each other's souls. It's so much deeper than it seems.
So having weathered their first storm together, their love really deepens. And his newfound security? It leads them right into the next stage of their relationship, where the bride starts to seek a whole new kind of freedom.
She declares her confidence so boldly, "I belong to my beloved and his desire is for me." You can feel the security in those words. And with that security, she asks him to leave the palace with her. She doesn't need the status or the luxury anymore. She just wants him. She wants to express their love freely, out in the open, far away from all the rules and constraints of royal life. You know, this marks an incredible turning point in her journey. If you remember, in the beginning, she was this outsider traveling to the palace, basically a spectacle for the whole city. But now she returns home with her king, as a confident partner, welcomed by her own people. She has truly come full circle. And what about this wilderness she comes from? Well, on one level, sure, it's the physical space between the palace and her hometown, but symbolically, it's so much more. The wilderness represents a place of trials, of refinement. It's all the challenges she faced as a commoner marrying a king, the very tests that made their love deeper and more powerful. So as she's reflecting on her whole journey, she uses these really powerful metaphors to describe how her purity was protected before she ever met the king. She uses three symbols that are just fantastic. First, she sees herself as a wall, fortified by her brothers with silver towers to protect her purity. Then, she was a door, secured by her family with strong cedar planks to guard her virtue. And finally, she was a vineyard, and its fruit, her very self, was kept pure by her brothers. In her culture, this wasn't seen as restrictive.
This was a beautiful, loving act of protection.
And the value of that protection? Immense. The poem tells us that Solomon actually rewarded her brothers with 200 pieces of silver. Now, this wasn't just a payment. It was a powerful sign of the incredible worth he placed on how diligently they had cared for her and preserved her purity just for him.
Okay, so we've followed this incredible human love story through crisis, reconciliation, and this deepening maturity. But for centuries, readers have seen something more going on here, a reflection of a much, much bigger, divine love story.
And when you look, the parallels are pretty striking. You have a powerful king, Solomon, who chooses and deeply loves a common woman. Their love is tested. It's made stronger through trials. Her purity is cherished and celebrated. Now look at the spiritual allegory. This mirrors God choosing ordinary, imperfect people. Our faith gets refined and strengthened through challenges. You could call it the wilderness of our own lives. And the church is called to be a pure and holy bride for Christ.
So here it is, the ultimate takeaway. The Song of Solomon is a mirror. On one hand, it reflects the beauty, the complexity, and the passion of human love. But when you look closer into that reflection, it also reveals this profound picture of God's faithful, committed, passionate love for His people.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to ponder, doesn't it? If this ancient story of passion, trial, and enduring devotion is indeed a mirror for a greater love, what does it show us about our own relationships, our own faith, and our own capacity for a love that truly lasts?